We are so excited to have Dr. Kramer here today. Let's get started. Who or what inspired you to pursue studies and a career in STEM?
Well, you know what? I don't even know if I could point to one source. I found my middle school yearbook, and in 8th grade, we each had to put ourselves like in a drawing of what we thought we wanted to be. And I had myself as dressed as a nurse. So I think I always thought I was going to do something in healthcare. And then when I got to college, I was looking at like what would be the pre-nursing or pre-med curriculum. And I just started taking some of the classes. And then a couple of family members said, well, if you're thinking about nursing school, maybe you should think about medical school. And then I just decided, well, I guess I could do that. And I just pursued medicine. So I guess it would be a combination of what I had always thought I would be doing and people suggesting, to look into medicine or nursing or something like that. So I don't know if there was one specific thing other than I don't remember ever having any other plan.
What is an obstacle that you encountered in your STEM field and how did you overcome it?
Well, I think when I was in school, so late, like mid 70s to late 80s, going through grammar school and high school, there certainly weren't the same number like we see today of girls in the math and sciences that back then. So by the time I was a senior in high school, there were 4 girls in the AP biology class. The rest was all boys. And like in our honors physics class, I think there were 5 girls. So 1 girl stopped after that year. So that was definitely, I think we definitely had a feeling as girls in the class that the boys were naturally more talented in math and science and that they would just naturally be better at it than us. And then when I went to college, I think at that time I knew of like 1 girl in engineering. I mean, it was definitely very, very slim. Certainly in the pre-med type of classes, there were, when I got to that level, I think it kind of evened out and there were lots of girls. And when I got to medical school, I think so that would have been in 1993 in the fall. I think they told us we were like one of the first years that men and women were in about the same number, 50%. So it wasn't unheard of at that time for girls to be going into medicine, certainly. But there were less, once you got more into your clinical rotations, there were certainly older than us, much fewer women than you would see today, like as mentors and things like that. So I don't think there wasn't that encouragement or push for girls to go into science fields. So you kind of got your encouragement from your peers.
What strengths have you found being a woman in STEM?
It's taken a while, but now I feel very confident in my ability to think critically and form opinions and feel comfortable expressing those opinions. And I think some of that comes from what my background is in, more in the hard sciences. And that kind of gives me the confidence in other areas to analyze things and make critical thinking decisions. So it's a good base for anything else you're going to look at, and be able to form your own opinions and present them well to various people in other fields as well.
What advice would you give to young women interested in pursuing STEM careers?
Well, now is a great time to be a woman in STEM. I mean, people are encouraging women to go into STEM fields. They're mentoring women to go into STEM fields. I know where my daughter goes to college, they have a whole dorm floor for women who are in STEM who want to join like that living learning community. So there's a lot of support. So you should seek out that support and seek out I think people can underestimate how wonderful it could be to have a mentor who kind of, gives you advice and talks to you about what's next, even if it's just it doesn't have to be someone who's 20 years ahead of you in a field. It's someone who's just a couple of years ahead of you in the field who can advise you on what are good classes to take, what are good strategies to use in those classes, and then getting internships, getting jobs, all of those things. It's the importance of networking and having a support system within your field is invaluable. And I think there's a lot more opportunities nowadays for girls to have that, for sure, because there's so many women in those fields, and it's not, it's encouraged, not tolerated.
What do you see for the future of women in STEM?
Well, I think the future for women in STEM is super bright. Again, people are looking for women to go into these fields. There are so many options in STEM that women can succeed in. So this is, again, just a great time for women who are interested in those areas to really reach for all the opportunities that are available and to take that advantage of the encouragement of getting more women into those fields. So I would think, just like when I was in med school and it was the early time of having equal women in that area, that's hopefully coming along in other areas in STEM as well, where you won't be the only woman at the table amongst men in engineering fields or other things that have more traditionally been thought of as a male dominated field.
Thank you so much for taking the time to discuss your experiences in STEM.